Once again, you already know what it is, and you already know where you have reached. The number one, the number one collaborative professional wrestling podcast anywhere in the world. We are very fired up to bring you a very special edition of Clash of the Podcast. As always, my name is Sean Hubbard, joined by the one and only Conrad Cushman. HW Weekly's in the building. Everything Pro Wrestling's in the building, but also the professor's in the building, man. A very special guest joining us for this special John Cena edition of Clash of the Podcast. You know what I'm saying? Professor BJ is in the house, man. So with that being said, man, it's time to kick this show off. The chat's here. I'm here. BJ's here. Conrad's here. There's only one thing left to say, and that's what I always say, man. Let's do it, Conrad. Please, my brother, drop that thing.
Another Monday, another clash. Good times, folks. We got a lot to talk about, so I'm jumping right into the comments, and we'll go through these. If anybody wants to read one, BJ, I'll even let you read some of these if you want. Let's get them going. Joel jumps up to the top with a $2 super chat. Says, "Happy Monday. Looking forward to Cena's last match." Well, thank you for the $2 super chat, my friend. These are always appreciated. And yeah, John Cena's last match. It should be something interesting. We'll talk about that, and I'm sure everyone knows it's Gunther who's going to be taking place in there, and I'm sure we'll talk about that towards the end of our Cena conversations.
Cleasy, 130, 420 says, "Afternoon, everyone."
It's good, clown.
The only thing like. There you go, BJ. Go ahead, man. Do you
Happy Monday. What a weekend of college football and NFL. Hype for tonight's show. God bless y'all. Thank you, Vinny.
God bless you too, man.
Yo, shout out to Sean. I got to talk a little college football for like 0.2 seconds. Sean, proud of your team, Notre Dame.
Yeah. They jammed us up, man. But I really love the fact that we decided. For those of you who haven't heard, Notre Dame got shut out of the college football playoff when arguably they're a top 5 team in the country. I know the controversy was there about them and Miami playing head-to-head back on August 31st. I have no problem with Miami getting in. The problem I have is with Alabama getting in. Alabama got destroyed in the SEC championship game. They have one more loss than Notre Dame does. They have lost 2 out of their last 4 games, and the games that they did win, they did not look impressive. So to make a long story short, Alabama started the day at number 9 in the college football rankings. They lost, got destroyed by Georgia, and stayed at number 9. And then with Miami getting in, Notre Dame was out. So Notre Dame, along with the guy who I consider to be the best coach in all of college football, Marcus Freeman, decided to pull Notre Dame from any other bowl game since they did not make it into the CFP. I applaud that decision. And you're not going to give me bologna when I deserve steak. So shout out to Marcus Freeman and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish for taking a stand after that atrocity that took place on Sunday morning.
Big facts. Quills is in the house. He said, "What up, Conrad, Sean, chat? Your boy Sir Quills is back again to enjoy my 2 favorite bros, CJ and Hubs, for episode 171 of the best wrestling podcast out today, Clash of the By God podcast. Hashtag EPW, hashtag HWW."
We appreciate you, Quills. Speaking of Quills, he continues by saying, "This episode about John Cena's rise to stardom should be quite intriguing and insightful in regards to his legacy, whether if you're a fan of his or not. Ultimate respect is due to him." I would agree with that.
Yeah. Ray, happy Monday, guys. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Good seeing you, Ray. I always like seeing you in the comments anyways, but I get to hear these two praise you more often. But today's my turn. A special episode dedicated to the career of my all-time favorite performer, LFG. I hope that we service it the best that we can for you.
For sure.
M. Leezy, Fo, Sheezy, Matt Lopez, 6696 to be exact, says, "Hello, good evening, everyone. Hope you had a good Monday. And let's kick the week off right with the 2 goats of our pro wrestling community. We appreciate you, Leezy, as always." He goes on to say, "It was a good weekend for pro wrestling with CMML, TNA, AEW, Ring of Honor, New Japan, GCW, and NXT. Respect."
For sure. McKinney, he said, yo, I'm here to talk wrestling with the Fire live chat and my go-to guys for wrestling content. Clash of the podcast, and to let y'all know, there are 3 constants in life: change, choice, and principles. Love it. Love it.
Gold as always.
And he brings up the Iron Survivor match as one of the best new concept matches. I need a match in the fight pit, but thankfully NXT doesn't use it just to use it. The NXT Underground. NXT got his heart on fire. Hearts on fire. All right. Miracle.
I'm searching for a miracle. Believe the impossible. Take it, BJ.
What up to my favorite podcast tag team, Conrad and Sean? BJ. And we're always looking forward to discussing some wrestling content with you in the chat.
Yes.
And
And
the end of Cena's run.
That
2 more
is true.
days.
it could be, man. I see some people talking NXT. Shout out to my guy E in the chat. E, always fun. I'm gonna throw his link in there right now. Who is John Cena? I love it. Good times. E. T Ferg, he said, "What's good, fellas? Hope everyone had a good weekend. Buffalo versus Cincinnati game was crazy yesterday. Who you telling, brother? Yo, by the way, not a catch that they gave him that touchdown for. I was like, come on, dog. Yeah,
It didn't look like he had control, but yeah.
Welcome to the land of Buffalo, though. Don't get me started on calls. I'll tell you for years. Missed field goals, all that.
Well, that's not a bad call. What happened? He missed the field goal.
We question that name anytime we see him.
Fair
Do
enough.
not. If I see Norwood, you're done in Buffalo. You're done.
No. Listen. Can we talk about this for 2 seconds?
No, we cannot, because it's haunted my team for years.
Let me tell
He
you
blew
something.
it. Yeah, one job. You got one job, Sean. Kick the ball.
There's nothing. No. Listen, I'm taking charge here. We're talking about this for 2 minutes. As a Giant fan who greatly benefited, 7-year-old me benefited from Scott Norwood. Okay, but here's the deal: Scott Norwood was a Pro Bowl kicker. Scott Norwood had never made a field goal. Had a lot of great difficulty in kicking field goals over 40 yards in the grass. There were a lot of extenuating circumstances. At the end of the day, the Buffalo Bills were a better team than the New York Giants in 1990 going into the 1991 Super Bowl. You guys should have won going away. You guys let Mark Ingram break 17 tackles on that 3rd down play in the 4th quarter. You let Otis Anderson, whose best days were 10 years prior, run over you guys like he was a modern-day Walter Payton. Do not blame Super Bowl 25 on Scott Norwood. That is not fair.
One job. Finish the game out, buddy. You got this.
Okay. I don't think that's right, but I respect your opinion.
That's fine. Well, I mean, when you lose 4 of them, you got to start picking someone whose fault it is. Whose fault is it this time, guys? Like, come on. We should have won one of those. That's my
The one you guys really should have won was the last one. The last one against the Cowboys. You guys were leading at the half.
I didn't believe that we were going to win that one, though, ever. The Cowboy ones, I never believed. But I thought the Washington team and then
and the Giants.
Yeah, we could have did it. Doug's in the house. Another Monday, another clash. Conrad, Sean, Professor BJ, chat, teach me.
You got it, Doug. Teach me how to, Doug.
It's finals week. Teaching's done right now. You got to prove that you learned
it. Look at Jesse. 3-man booth on Clash. Let's go.
What up, Jesse?
Appreciate you. What's good? Let's see here. Boom,
By the way,
boom.
I want to address one of the comments. I still have most of my hair, so I'm not curly.
Oh, was it the Larry Curly Mo?
Yeah. I don't think
shouldn't I be curly?
Well, isn't traditionally curly the one that is bald? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. We're talking about the Three Stooges.
Let's move on. So, Tiana, hello. What do you think about Cena? You can't deny what he's done for wrestling and sports entertainment. That is true.
Love Deanna, but disagree vehemently.
I
can't wait to get into this. I'm gonna destroy this guy.
MJB in the place to be. He said, yo.
In this
crime time. You know what? Funny enough, I'm actually going to mention something about
Brooklyn.
Let me see here. Yo, everybody is crazy. Oh, man. I saw that too about I felt bad for the kicker in New York with the kick.
Well, no, I don't feel bad for anybody. The New York Giants are a reprehensible franchise, and they're a disgrace. I'm disgusted to be a fan. If I could tell my mind and soul to stop being a New York Giant fan, I would.
You can't do that.
You don't know how hard I have it as being a Steelers fan and trying not to root for them this year. So I get it.
we might end up getting your coach if you guys part ways.
Hey, I hope he does great for you.
I like Tomlin.
Yeah.
Guy will. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That was it. It was just like a
You know, Tomlin. One thing about Tomlin, you being a Steelers fan, BJ. One thing about Tomlin, it's not that he's a bad coach. He's a great coach. He's a Hall of Fame coach. But the thing is, after 20 years, I'm spitballing here, 17, whatever it's been. Sometimes you need to have a new voice in the locker room.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I just think when you always get the job done, though, what bad can we say?
Well, get the job done is kind of a rough thing because Tomlin's in that really uncomfortable spot, and I have all due respect to him. But when you win 10 games a year, that means you're going to the playoffs as a wild card every year, and you're never getting any better draft picks.
Touche. I hear you on that. But his team, he always finds a way, whether it's little or a lot. He always finds a way to get into the playoffs, though. It's kind of like the McDermott effect, too. Like some people say, like, get rid of McDermott. I'm like, but what did you do before this? Let's look back at that. You want to go back to that? Because that's what it could be, too. Guy Will Gamble said, Europe, what's good, everybody? Happy Monday. Even though our time is almost up, our time is still now. That is the perfect way to get into it.
I like it.
Perfect way. See you, Jesse. Check out my guys' Pro Wrestling Shoot tomorrow. I don't know if they're going live or not, but there's their link right in the chat popping up for you guys. And don't forget, Sean's links are down below, and so are BJ's in the description. So make sure you guys show some love. And I'm going to
we see you.
Look at him. Look at that. Sean, on point, man. Brother don't give nobody no time. Look at him. He saw it before I could even look at it. Delayed grats, what's good, man? Sean, let's start off this John Cena thing, man. Well, I don't know how you want to start this off.
Anyone want to start off, he's a freaking poser.
We're talking about John Anthony Felix Cena here.
Yeah.
Even though I was going to use the other song, Jamiroquai.
Culture.
I thought Jamiroquai was in there somewhere. Like
Culture Vulture.
We're going to get into that. Listen, I'm preferencing this now. So when people go back and listen to this is not going to be all like flowers, all of this for John. There's going to be some of that.
There's going to be some upliftment and also some destruction of John Bartholomew Cena.
That is not his middle name, but yes.
That is his middle name. Would you stop saying that? I looked it up.
We're trying to be factual here.
In my mind, I looked it up. Anyway.
This was a young upstart kid in the year 2000, 2001-ish. John Cena, given the gimmick, the prototype. He came into the world of OVW, a guy who could do his promos backwards, which I always thought was a kind of a cool gimmick. Like, he was Mr. Instant Replay and and then he says his promos and cuts them. It was interesting. It was good for OVW. I didn't know if that would make it to WWE and be successful, but I had heard some things about the guy back then. For people who act like the internet didn't exist, that's not true. We did know who some of these guys were, and we had heard about Lesnar. I had heard about this big guy, Batista, Leviathan back then, yeah. Randy Orton, Shelton Benjamin, Charlie Haas. A lot of these guys were big names, but John Cena stood out. They obviously saw something in him. WWE, pretty much a body company. They drew right into him. And I guess I'll kick it to you guys on his OVW stuff, and then we can get right into his WWE debut.
BJ, it's all yours.
From a lot of what we get when it comes to the OVW stuff, if you weren't there watching it at the time, you recognize that his, using a more modern term as we do with NXT, his quote unquote class was those big four, and what an impact all four of them have made in different ways to WWE. And for argument's sake, there may be an NXT class that has been as profound currently, but the transcending where WWE, FE, whichever at the time, heading into WWE was, those four really brought along a lot of, differences to the program.
I'm going to frame it in. I like to do this NBA talk sometimes. What is the greatest NBA draft class of all time, Sean? Some people might argue it's from 83. Some might say it's 84. Someone might say it was 1996. Sean, is this the greatest WWE like farm roster class? Like, was this the best that it ever was, in your opinion, with that John Cena class in OVW under the teaching of Jim Cornette?
I'd have to give it the nod. It's a tough thing to think about because this hasn't always been the prerequisite call-up system that it's been over the last maybe 20 years. But in this 20-year span, I would say that this would have to be the greatest class of all time. At the end of the day, however, we have to look at it for what it is and say, hey, listen, they definitely made their impact on the industry. However, they were also very green and very much for guys that we did not see their value until much later down the line.
For sure.
They really kind of like hung on for dear life and some extenuating circumstances. Obviously, this is a John Cena show, but the broken arm, I want to say, or broken cut, whatever it may have been for Randy Orton, ending up with him being on the shelf, coming back as a member of Evolution, Batista getting injured, coming back as a member of Evolution, Brock Lesnar and his association with Paul Heyman ended up being a major deal. I mean, John Cena just kind of like ended up doing something on a bus that changed the trajectory of his whole life, not just his career, his whole life. A freestyle on the back of a bus changed his entire life. So, I mean, the prototype would have never made it. But, John Cena definitely at the 11th hour pulled something out of his hat and became who he is today. And because of that, we can say that class of stars that came out in that farm system at that time, OVW, could very well be considered the greatest ever.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that at all. Yeah, and chat, let us know. Like, what do you think that is the greatest class? Because McKinney came in, he said too many game changers from that OVW class. And you know what? What Sean brought up about Randy Orton is a good point, though. That might have been a blessing in disguise for him too, getting injured. Because you know who I think got hindered a little bit? Shelton Benjamin.
Mm-hmm.
He ended up getting a little bit of a push, but they never went all the way with Shelton Benjamin. And I thought he was a heck of an athlete. Brock Lesnar was clearly the one that they thought was the guy. And I think we all probably did too. At least I know I did after WrestleMania 18. I saw that guy and I was like, that guy's a freak of nature. There's no way.
Yeah.
No way. Let's talk about the debut, because I remember where I was when we saw this. Man, good pictures, man. You could really see what Kurt was doing back then if you look at that picture hard enough. But what do you possess that makes you think you can go up against an Olympic gold medalist like Kurt Angle? Someone say the line for me.
Ruthless aggression. I'm not going to say it like him because I'm not an idiot.
Ruthless. He that slap was good, man. He slapped Kurt, and then they had a match, and I thought it was a good match though. When watching it for the opening of SmackDown back in 2002, I think I just came home from like a basketball practice. If you tell me the time of year it was, maybe I just did a tryout, something like that. And I just remember watching that. I was like, yo, that kid wasn't too bad. I was like, okay, let's see what he's got. And it started out good for him, right? Were you impressed with this, Sean?
It was all right. I mean, what this debut led to was a couple of 6-man tags with Rey Mysterio and Edge. They were trying to build him as the next big thing, no pun intended. They were trying to put him in a position where they said that Edge, Rey Mysterio, even though Rey Mysterio obviously was an established superstar, Edge had already became a United States Intercontinental Champion by this time, as well as a tag champion. But they teamed him up with, Rey Mysterio, the infamous / kind of in a funny way backstage segment where Rey Mysterio was doing chin-ups in the locker room and the thing broke and he fell, But yeah, they tagged him up with those guys in an effort to give him the old wrestling term some rub. I remember a 6-man tag in a cage that it had Rey Mysterio jump off the top, and they ended the show celebrating in the ring. But as we all would come to find out, BJ and Conrad, this would not be the incarnation of John Cena that would lead to him being a superstar.
Yeah, and you know what I thought of when you were saying all that stuff, Sean? The Taker one. That's the one I remember the most. Taker was the undisputed champion, put his hand up and was like, respect. Taker was giving a lot of people the rub back then. Jeff Hardy, Cena, and he gave Cena like the nod of approval. And I was like, okay, interesting. Interesting back then. He went on to then like form a tag team with Billy Kidman. I don't know what made the belief stop in John Cena at that time. He feuded with Billy Kidman, I think, for a little bit after, and they tried some stuff, but it was kind of, listen, Randy Orton and him on SmackDown, it was bland city. Like, you were just there. You were in, what was Randy Orton doing? Feuding with Hardcore Holly. He's feuding with Billy Kidman, getting on like the B level pay-per-views, like second match on the card. It was rough, man. It was rough times. And then Sean had brought it up earlier. A change happened. If you want to outline that, Sean, one more time for the people of what happened, what changed John Cena's career trajectory in WWE forever.
Well, you know, as legend would have it, John Cena was on a bus or just some kind of traveling mechanism, whether it be a van or a bus, on his way to the next town. Stephanie McMahon happened to be on that bus. Many of us remember that Stephanie McMahon was the on again, off again general manager of SmackDown at the time. So she was an on-screen talent in addition to her backstage role. And you know, some of the guys in the back were having a good time, kind of just freestyle rapping, and John Cena kind of just jumped in and started freestyle rapping. I think that a really important thing to note, gentlemen, is that freestyle would have meant nothing had Stephanie not been on the bus. That's something that people need to realize. Nobody else on that bus would have reported back or said anything. John Cena was just doing that for fun. And he just got very fortunate that Stephanie heard him, asked him if he would do it on TV. He ended up dressing up as Vanilla Ice for Halloween and doing a freestyle on SmackDown. And the rest, as they say, is history.
Yeah.
The most unbelievable part of knowing that story is the fact that Stephanie McMahon was on a bus.
It had to have been like one of the foreign tours, right?
It had to have.
Right, because why else would she be on a else would she be on a bus? All right.
And for Sean, insurrection.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And you know what else helps? I think Stephanie McMahon is a fan of hip hop, and I've always noticed this with her and Triple H. Triple H is more of the Aerosmith of Run DMC, and I think Stephanie's more of the Run DMC type. And you get them together, and it's like, okay, we can work this out. Because sometimes when it's the rock music, I'm like, oh, that fits Triple H. But when I hear those hip hop themes, even like Trish's theme, like I'm a girl, yeah, and, you know, you have people rapping on. I'm like, Stephanie definitely probably had a hand in that. Like, yeah, they should definitely do this. It's always interesting, and I want to go back. So we talked about all of that, and listen, at first I thought the B squared stuff was kind of like Bull Buchanan was the B squared, and John Cena had a bunch of lackeys for a little bit.
It is a travesty that we didn't get B squared during this last year.
Unbelievable,
especially with his son being there in the company. Like, come on, could have happened.
It could have. He's an officer now, isn't he, or something like that? I think he's a police officer. I can't remember. He popped up a few years ago, I think, for something else. And yeah, he showed up. But John Cena turns it all around. I don't have the pictures of him. Like, they gave him the feats of strength, him lifting Big Show. He started doing all of this stuff, being on Survivor Series teams. But John Cena went from heel. He got to work some main events. People forget that he was a heel when he first started rapping. And then he became the United States champion. And this was the guy walking around with the lock on and the U.S. title. And I want Sean and BJ to travel back in time a little bit. I want you to go back to 03, 04. Think of your life, what you were doing, what was hot back then. G-Unit. Like,
yeah, I was a freshman. I was a freshman in high school, and I was going like this.
Yep. Because of Tony Ayo or John Cena? Because
of Tony Ayo.
That's right. That's what I like to hear. See, Tony
I
Ayo,
don't
you got your
love. I'm sharing them.
All right, Sean. Come back, Sean. Sean. Old school Sean was probably a blast.
Yeah, man.
Yo, someone said justice for B squared in the chat. I love it. Yeah, look at it. G Unit. Yes. It was a good time, man. And you know what? I think this plays into the Ruthless Aggression era as well. And BJ, Sean, you guys can correct me if you disagree. Sean mentioned that time period. Me and Sean are about the same in age. I think BJ same age almost, right?
I see you guy will gamble. I mean, we might as well just. I don't mind saying it. I'm 38 years old, so
yeah. I'm saying 38.
Yeah,
37.
So,
nah, but I always get confused. I'm older than you by months, not years.
yeah, months, and then
but you're the youngin of the group. I still beat you. I'm still old.
BJ's younger than me.
I just turned 37, so.
Oh, there you go. So you're the youngin. I'm still the oldest by like 7 months.
It's all good.
Oh,
so
shut up. I'm not happy about it.
Going back to staying on focus here.
Yes.
When you looked at this, we had a different time period. In that era, we were probably all high school. You know, what do you care about back then? Sports.
I care about sports
music,
and girls.
Yeah, same stuff. Going to parties.
Yeah.
I think we valued the athleticism. I think that was the change from the Attitude Era. Like I feel like I always tell Sean, wrestling grew up with us. So then when I get into high school, it's about Kurt Angle, athletics. It's about hip hop, John Cena. You had some nice ladies on there too. I mean, Tori Wilson, Stacy Keibler, you name them, they'll knock them down. It all just fit. And I think John Cena just had the best gimmick at that time. Hip hop was hot. I went to a suburban school where 99% of the population didn't look like me. I promise you. Like, I used to go to school and I used to be the guy where people would be like, yo, can you get me this CD? Yeah, sure. Your parents want you to listen to this? Like, you sure you're supposed? Whatever. Like, here, check it out. And there was that at that time, Kanye West, G Unit, all that stuff was taken off huge. Basketball jerseys. I see you, Miracle. Yes, we were wearing those back then. It was crazy, man. Everything that was happening. Is that a huge factor in like what made it work for Cena? Do you think now that I laid that out like that?
Absolutely not. But I'm gonna let BJ give his take because I'm about to destroy this dude.
I do think for the world at the time, it was easier for him to get in with that than it would have been any time before or any time after. To be fair, thinking about like stuff at that time, like I very much was someone who was like all across the spectrum of music, love music, but like I definitely I enjoyed both. I was advocates for both, and I really did look at times, especially when we're talking about, you know, the doctor of thugonomics, like when he was doing stuff with Jericho, is like, oh man, like this is like the Rock person, and this is like the hip hop person in a feud. And so, yeah.
Interesting.
So, Sean, I don't know. You cut me off when you're ready to get into this, but John Cena.
No, I mean, look here's the situation, guys. The bottom line is this: nobody can ever convince me that John Cena is truly a rapper, truly a hip hop guy. John Cena is none of those things. John Cena latched on like the leech that he is to hip hop because hip hop was popping at the time, and hip hop saved his job. Now, I'm not going to say that John Cena is not a poet or a wordsmith, but John Cena is not a rapper. John Cena never was a rapper, but I'll tell you what John Cena did once he got on the back of that bus. John Cena wrote down some rhymes. John Cena got into the booth and started getting serious about rapping because rapping was what's going to save his career. He realized by that one moment on the back of that bus, by him probably playing around, and God bless him, he got fortunate in that moment. He was like, you know what? This is going to save my job. So you know what? I'm going to start writing down rhymes. I'm going to start memorizing what I need to memorize. Every city I go to, I'm going to have something prepared, and I'm going to be the best rapper I can be. And that's exactly what it became. John Cena is not a real hip-hop guy. John Cena is from West Newbury, Massachusetts. I'm not saying people from West Newbury, Massachusetts don't like hip-hop, but at the end of the day, John Cena, I have no proof, but John Cena does not convince me in that regard, because as soon as John Cena, this is the key, ladies and gentlemen, happy birthday, MJB, this is the key, ladies and gentlemen, as soon as John Cena became the world champion, all that stuff mysteriously went away. all that stuff that got him notoriety, got him an opportunity, got him on television, got him off of Velocity. All of a sudden, it's no more chain gang. Now it's Mr. Hustle, loyalty, and respect. But your hip hop, I don't buy it. Never have bought it, never will buy it. I think he's an opportunist. I don't blame him. He's feeding his family. But at the end of the day, is it genuine? Absolutely not.
Interesting. Beej, what do you think? What do you think of that? Like that's the conclusion I came to as to why we began to hate Cena, which I was going to get into the next thing, but we can jump into it, man. He was the U.S. champ. He moves over to Monday Night Raw. We all know this. He got drafted to Raw, and not too long after he became the world champ at WrestleMania 21. He beats JBL. They go through their feud. He then just shows up on Raw, and slowly all the hip-hop
fades away.
Yeah. After the Jericho feud, pretty much. No more Fozzy.
That was a pivotal time for me as a fan. I would definitely at that point was the change had started to where I was like, all right, I'm kind of over this guy. And I agree. It's because he just started dropping everything that I was about with him that I enjoyed. Relating back to what you were saying, Sean, about, he did it because it was going to save him and everything. We see even in hip hop and things today, people trying to break through that. Like you can tell by the style that they're writing with.
Keep going, BJ. That's a great
clearly
point.
Just they're, as you called it, a wordsmith. They can line some stuff up, but they're doing it for the notoriety. But the minute that they get there, they're going to leave that scene and they're not going to do it. And then you can tell the people who are feeling what they've built, are relating it to themselves, are being the person that they genuinely are. And all of that disappeared, and you didn't even see a hint of what that person was on screen again. So I give that to you.
All of a sudden, his fitted baseball caps with barely any bend to them as the people in the hood would wear them, like the way I wear my fitted hats if I'm ever wearing one, because I'm always freaking in this shirt and tie every day because I have a job now. But anyway, my point I'm trying to make is all of a sudden his hat, the brim is all the way cuffed down, and all of a sudden he's wearing New Balances instead of the Air Reebok pumps and Jordans, and he's saluting all the time, and there's no more freestyles. Like, who are you? You're not the guy that I cheered for at WrestleMania 20. By the way, actually, I was in the building for that. You're not that guy. You're nowhere close to that guy.
Yeah, and I think that was always one of the things that he ended up losing. And I want to address a couple things in the chat here. MJB brought up Road Dogg a couple times before this, and how he ran away with the culture. Listen, Road Dogg was out there. Oh, you didn't know? You better call somebody. It's the D-O-double-G. Quick, get rowdy.
We're getting rowdy. About to move some things.
Listen, our troop has spit them same raps for a long time.
I love art. I have a lot of respect and appreciation for Ron Killens, but that was not his best moment.
Yeah, he was young back then too in the game, but like Road Dogg, like they tried. Road Dogg never got to this level though with it.
And Miracle, I will knock New Balances when you wear them with jean shorts. I will.
I don't know.
I like New Balances. I don't like New Balances and jean shorts. Unacceptable.
I don't know how old Miracle is though. There was a time, bro, where you could not wear New Balances. You were going to get dogged. Same thing with champs. Back then, like
they're dad shoes.
They were,
right.
You wore the jorts and the New Balances if you were going to go cut the lawn, like
that. There you go, or play shuffleboard.
Let me say this too: jorts were cool back then. You could rock some jorts. The problem is now you definitely do not do that. I don't even know how I wore jeans for that long back then. I was like, Now I'm just like, sweatpants, bro. I'm comfortable. Like that's how I want to be now at all times. But New Balance, like my old feet. Nothing wrong with New Balances. I've had actually, have I had a pair? Maybe not. But I buy those other walking shoes now. Like I'm more about being comfortable. No Skechers.
Okay.
Like those I can't think of it. It's not Hookahs, it's another brand like that. I have to look at them. but fantastic. And I'll disagree with Sean a smidge. I don't know, BJ, if you want to be in between, or I think Cena is a hip hop fan. I do think Cena can rap. Delayed Grad said a C-level rapper, and I think that's probably the best way to put it. Like, I'm talking like top-notch people in the game, Sean. John Cena ain't holding the candle to any of these people, but I think Cena can hold his own. He would impress people who don't really know hip hop, casuals. You know what I mean? Like, oh, look at that guy can rhyme. Yeah. There's levels to it. You can't go to a party where there's a bunch of hip hop people in there and then come in and be like, yo, my name is, as soon as I hear that, I'm like, yo, if you are not Eminem, do not ever let me hear you say my name is.
There you go.
There's just certain, what I've been 10 toes down. There's just certain things you hear and you're like, bro, come on with this. We've heard it 1,000 times.
And then to take it a step further, gentlemen, then it got into a territory where I felt he was mocking hip hop. Like the album, I felt like it was like, okay, this is getting a little out of hand now. Like I did not appreciate the John Cena album. I was like, yo, you're starting to really, you talk about manipulating and doing what you have to do to make money. Like at this point, it's kind of like getting a little out of hand. Like it was a little bit uncomfortable for me. That may be just me, and that's fine. But I felt like when he really put out an album, I was like, bro, like, no, this is fugazi, bro.
So yeah, I am gonna kind of take that middle of the road there on that, because I do think that his album stuff, like I think he did like hip hop, of course, but I think his album stuff, I feel like he at least gave a genuine effort on it. Whereas I think that, more of the wordsmith side of things came out in promos, because those, some of them were good, some of them weren't. Or he would have, 3 lines and end with something very corny. I mean, looking back at it today, we probably think way more of them were corny than what it was at the time with us growing up and stuff. But I will say, kind of in that middle of the road there, of like, yes, he definitely got, like, when that persona changed, all of that was gone. But I do think in that moment when he said, oh, I'm going to do an album, he took his role as that person seriously.
Okay.
But that just might lead to how well he can take on roles.
Yeah, I know he did songs with people in hip hop too that were like, hold on, I'm looking it up right now. Murs, yeah, he did a song with Murs. Like Murs is known in the hip hop like underground community. Like if you know who he is, Murs can flow. But they were using John Cena's platform as well as, well, you're going to give me some street cred if I'm rapping with you. There was a beneficialness to the relationship. To me, once that 05 period hit, it was game over. And we got to mention this too, because at one point, Sean, it was a choice between him and Batista. And I don't know if did you guys feel like Cena was the better choice between the two of them? Like WrestleMania 21 time period, like were you like, it's Batista. Batista's the guy, he's on Raw, and then they did the flopperoo, and I was like, oh, they don't trust Batista really. And they did know back then, once again, the internet was around, that Batista was going to try and get in the movies. Like they knew that already.
Yeah, I'm the wrong person to ask this, because I think John Cena and Batista are overrated.
Oh, okay. So you didn't believe in them in 05, like when it was happening?
No, I believe. Here's the way you got to word this correctly. I believe that WWE believed. I believe they were the. I believe that they were the guy, just like I think Braun Breaker's the guy. I don't think they are, but WWE does.
Okay, so you see the writing on the wall, is what you're saying. Then. Got it. Beach.
I think, as you said, business decision wise, when they heard that he was going to Batista was going to try to do movie stuff, that pretty much helped seal him as being 1A to not just one. But I will say, given what we have seen from their careers, in-ring and movie-wise, I think if WWE would have been a little bit of a different ball game when it came to some of their characters, some characters are typecast based off their size and how big and stuff they are. I think you could have had a lot more range with a Batista if you wouldn't have let him just be big, strong man.
Yeah.
So.
And then once the evolution thing left too, it was kind of doomed, because he went to SmackDown, and who's he going to work with? Kali.
Yeah.
Who else was over there? And then he fell into the role of like constant rematches. He was always in the picture. But so was John Cena. I mean,
Yeah.
John Cena ended up main eventing WrestleMania with Shawn Michaels. Not a bad match. I mean, Cena held his own, but we got to remember during this time period, he was getting booed. Like during WrestleMania 22's main event, people wanted Triple H to legitimately beat him, and I was like, whoa, that's
and rightfully so, not the Triple H part, but rightfully so.
I was one of those guys.
Yeah, John Cena beating Shawn Michaels and Triple H in back-to-back, reverse that, Triple H and Shawn Michaels in back-to-back WrestleManias is lunacy. It's complete lunacy. Like, especially the HBK match at 23. Lunacy. Like, that made no... Are you seriously telling me John Cena is better than Shawn Michaels? That's complete garbage. Go ahead, BJ.
I was going to say, I was talking the Triple H thing still. When I saw the hand go down to tap, I remember being so furious.
Yeah.
Like, how could he tap? How could he tap to Cena at Mania? Like, I was, and that wasn't even me being a huge Triple H person. It was just not being a Cena person at that time.
And he made Shawn Michaels tap as well the following year. Shawn Michaels lost to the STF at WrestleMania 23.
Yeah, that was where Triple H was supposed to technically get his leg back, if people know. Like, that was the plan, but it didn't go down that way. I just found it interesting, and I'll say this: John Cena probably does get a lot of crap for some of the stuff he does. Like, listen, when he does the STF, I can't stand how he just puts the arms over instead of cranking the neck a little bit. Like, you can make it look like it hurts, bro. When you do the crossover arms, I'm like, this doesn't hurt anybody. He took the back seat multiple times, probably when I don't know if other people would have did that before him. Because what did he do after that? He was in a triple threat at 24, Mania 25. He was in a triple threat again. 26, he faced Batista, but not in the main event. 27, he faced Miz. That's a whole nother, like, we could do a whole topic on WrestleMania 27. Bad.
I was gonna say during that time, I will say whether it was the creativeness of the writers or lack thereof, this, I think, was a time period, the 05, 06, it was probably like 07, 08. You know, it was moving into that really dull period of WWE outside of probably your main event, even if that carried on for that show. They inadvertently, and this is going to be a wild comparison, they inadvertently made John Cena both Superman and Batman at the same time, if you know those universes, because he was quote unquote Super Cena and never lost. But also at the same time, I was recognizing this as I was like thinking about this earlier in the week, with the rise of Edge and how much of a fan of Edge I was, with how much of a fan I am of The Miz. That started when Miz was doing the call outs for John Cena. He was having the Batman effect in that he was creating his own enemies, but those enemies were getting stature because of people like me who was tired of the Super Cena stuff.
Yeah, and I'll share a personal story too. And this is someone that I know, a good friend of mine. I won't mention their name because I didn't tell him I was going to tell the story. But he went to WrestleMania 26, and it was under like the Make-A-Wish stuff. I'll leave it at that. But the person was there, and John Cena came into the room. There were all these kids. Everybody's sick. All that. You guys know Make-A-Wish. Mm-hmm. He comes into the room, and John Cena has his orange gear on, with the orange and blue, right? That WrestleMania 26, right? That attire. He said that John Cena didn't leave with any clothes on because he was like, "Who wants my hat?" Kid said, "Can I get your hat?" He was like, "Yeah, sure." Someone said, "I want your shirt." Sure. Someone was like, "Can I get, this out of your pocket?" Like, "Yeah, sure." "Can I get a signature?" Yeah. Anything you guys want. And then he said he was the last person, and he wore all those armbands back then. And he had one left, and he said, "Well, I might as well, right?" And then he threw my buddy an armband, and he gave it to him. He still has it to this day, and I thought that was the coolest thing. Like, you can say whatever you want bad about him too, and we'll get into that in a second.
He's
probably.
a real life humanitarian.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
but to be number one in Make-A-Wishes, that's nothing that I would scoff at or make jokes about. Like
no, I'm not being sarcastic because I am the king of sarcasm. I'm not being sarcastic in this movie. He is truly like a benevolent human being.
Yeah. And I will say this. I know it might sound a little weird to put this in the frame of mind. I just think even for the stature of the company of Make-A-Wish and WWE and us as like fans as a whole and as people, I'm so very glad that he's the person that has the record compared to who that person was and where they ended up standing by the end of things with their trajectory. So
that's fair.
Yeah. Cena went on to do like we said, a bunch of things, and then coming off of what we had just said, all the good things, he was Mr. WWE, and that can be good and bad depending on your stance on the company at that time. And he had mentioned in an interview that, if I ever went to Hollywood, I'd always find a way to come back. There's always time to come back. There's always time to do that. Then it happened. It led to a match with him and The Rock. And I always feel like when you go back and watch this match, you knew Rock remembered that quote that he said about, I would always come back. I would always do that. Obviously, now I think he has apologized because he has seen the schedule and what it's really like. But I think Rock gave him a couple good shots in this one. I just remember looking at his face a couple times in the match. And I was like, I think Rock is giving him a couple receipts right now for what he said. And fantastic match, but we know what happens in the end. Rock bottom. John Cena loses. He's depressed. He goes all the way in. Twice in a lifetime, it happens again. And you get John Cena, and he gets put over by The Rock this time to show, hey, this is the passing of the torch moment, which I felt like he had already reached that high level. But you guys can get into any of this Rock stuff if you
want. This was still in the middle of that dreaded time of main roster WWE, and as the story progressed on Once in a Lifetime, they got me. It wasn't Cena coming back with the old Thugonomics gimmick promo and stuff like that. It was when Cena just was real and was like, yeah, you guys like him and stuff, but he went away and I've been here longer than he ever was. And like, it started to like open the eyes of like, oh, wow. Like, you know what? Actually, you're right. Like, you are venturing out into other things, but like, you're actually doing a lot of matches. You're doing a lot of different things and been here. And so I feel like you kind of respect this a little bit more. And that was initially not full on, but it was enough to start the perspective shift back for me.
Yeah. And I was at that WrestleMania 29. I'll share another fantastic memory of pro wrestling. When I'm there, I love to have fun with people, but you're going to definitely hear me throughout the whole show as well. And I was there, and I remember just like, man, my guy CM Punk's not in the main event. He just crushed it with the Undertaker. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, boo, boo, boo this man. And this kid behind me is like, why do you hate John Cena? I'm like, boo. And me knowing wrestling, like, I'm like, dude, obviously we know who's going to end up probably going over in this, like 90% of the time. You get to the finisher spam. He hits the AA, he pins The Rock, and then, bro, this kid turned around before I left, and I was like, oh, man, I'm so mad that he won. And then he just tapped me on the shoulder and was like, and I was like, that's what wrestling's about. I gave him the fist bump. I'm like, you got me today, dude. It's all you. I was like, let's get out of here before, because it was cold in New Jersey that night. I just remember that. But fantastic. That's what wrestling is about. So I'm glad that he gave a lot of people. Sean knows we work with a bunch of people. They grew up on this guy. This is their Hogan. That's why I want you to come in with that mindset too. Like I said, I was already older. You're not fooling me anymore. But this is a group's Hogan. He is their legend. We could bring up the stories with JTG. We didn't even bring that up. JTG and the sunglasses. He said something wrong in an interview and something that he was going to have on WWE Shop gone magically after Cena had a conversation with him in a restroom. David Otunga just told the Nexus story, and then he brought up a story about him and John Cena having an issue in a match, and John Cena ran him down in front of everyone backstage. And David Otunga said he wishes that it was a physical altercation instead because it would have been much shorter and less embarrassing. And I was just like, and he sounded like he was going to put hands on that man too if he said something to him. And I was just like, oh man, wow. So I know everybody's like, oh, he never played politics. He never did that. Not fully true. Not fully true.
That's a reach.
I know, but sometimes it comes off as that too. And we're gonna bring up Cena talking to the media one more time again. But BJ, I cut you off. So
I was gonna say, like, looking at it from that lens of the generational faces of WWEF, all that, when we're thinking about Hogan, when we're thinking about like Stone Cold, and we're thinking about Cena, like Stone Cold had to be kind of in some ways an antithesis of Hogan, but still what the modern person in society was willing to advocate and promote. Cena, I think they wanted to do the Hogan thing again, and I think that really, more than anything, because I think the Attitude Era changed older fans
perception.
They might not have stayed with it, where younger fans were like, hey, I'm growing up and things are different and times are different and I can roll with that. I think Cena was in that in between because they wanted to do the Hogan thing, and there were people like around our age that was like, no, we don't that doesn't work for us anymore. Like, that's not our thing. And so instead of there already being a decade of Hulkamania, there was like, you had like 4, maybe 5 years of where like, yeah, we're cool with this guy. But also at the same time, it wasn't him being a squeaky clean baby face. It was, we're cool with this guy because he's bringing in newer energy to, and a element to the product. And then it was just, nope, now he's Hogan. So I think in some regards, obviously, I'm honestly looking back throughout, the history, not his impact on where things are going, because we won't know that with Cena for another 20 years.
Right.
But I give the edge to Cena over Hogan.
Interesting. John Cena, it's very weird because he did get his push too because Brock Lesnar left. Like, people don't think about that either. Lesnar was the guy no matter what, but once he left, then they were on this search, and it came down to probably Batista
and John Cena.
Yeah, and they temporarily went with He Who We Shall Not Speak Of and Eddie Guerrero just to get over the hump for a year, which is the perfect time to do a good for you type title reign. Before I got to say this before B-Boy Skyline, he definitely gave me the John Cena album. I cannot speak to anything else after that because I don't know what the music statutory laws are, but thank you, good sir. I appreciate you, the statutes with those. But yes, you definitely did give me that album, and I appreciate it. I have that computer still in my garage, sitting on top of a loft. Yeah, so we get into the later years of Cena, the Bray Wyatt stuff, blah, blah, blah. We get to the U.S. Open Challenge, which I think revitalized him, where it was time for him to show off, like, I can wrestle. I can do this. Basically, he got to work with, like, people who came up from NXT, and they put on fantastic matches with each other. This was like Springboard Stunner era, as I like to call it. Like, he was just doing the most. Sean, did you have any more respect for him during that time period? Like, he did take a step back. He wasn't doing as much. He kind of was like, Roman, it's your time. He stepped away from it. He never wrestled Roman, but he stepped away from it. He eventually did. But
no, I don't, and never have respected John Cena as an in-ring performer. I always felt John Cena always had a hidden agenda. I always felt like John Cena was putting himself in a position to be the star in the room. I thought the U.S. Open Challenge was not a chance to put people in better positions, but a chance to put John Cena in a better position. I think a lot of John Cena's movements have been very strategic in nature, and I mean that in an uncomplimentary way. John Cena, if you think about how he run down Roman Reigns in that promo. I understand that we've had a lot of promos over the years that have been somewhat real in nature, but I'm talking about the No Mercy promo going into No Mercy. I felt like he took a lot of jabs at Roman Reigns. I think what Roman Reigns suffered from was a lot that John Cena put on him. Obviously, the suffer and succotash stuff is something that we will always look back on unfavorably. But John Cena saying in that promo that Roman Reigns cannot cut a promo, that doesn't help the business. Now, if people latch on to that, which I'm including myself, did at the time, how does that help the future of the industry? What if that had cut Roman Reigns' legs out from him right then and there? See, every promo that is meant to be controversial and stir up controversy to make people watch, it's not always what's best, because sometimes people take that to heart. Roman Reigns could have had his entire career derailed by John Cena's commentary in that ring that night, because a lot of it was not scheduled to be said. That cut a promo, you got to learn how to cut a promo, kid. If you don't learn how to cut a promo, you got to learn how to do it sometime. That was not part of the script. That was not part of it. And you could tell Roman Reigns had no idea that was coming.
Yeah. And I fully agree with that, Sean. And I think when you hear some people who were Cena fans tell that story, I think it's awful, because I'm like, yeah, that's fine, but that's not a fair promo battle either, because there is no script for John Cena, but Roman Reigns has a script. He has to read suffering succotash. Trash, bro. Like, anyone's losing with that mindset, so they set him up for failure. And that's
Miracle brings up the point. The comment, "I'm still here because you can't do your job." Think about that, gentlemen. Think about that comment. Now, John Cena is all about the betterment of the WWE, the betterment of the business. Exactly how does that put Roman Reigns in a better spot? Oh, I guess you're gonna say you're trying to motivate Roman Reigns. No, that's not the place for that. The place to do that is backstage when you're by yourselves and there's no cameras. Hey, Roman, you suck at promos. If you want to be the man around here, you're gonna have to learn. You don't say that in the ring.
My thoughts when thinking about a few of those moments, and this is going strictly to Cena with the promo stuff, because there's been a couple of times where he's delivered, you talk the talk, but can you walk the walk kind of deal, and
not to cut you off, BJ, he's completely disrespected Miz on multiple occasions.
Yeah, but I wonder, in a weird way. I'm not looking at this,
No, please, by all means.
Masses, but if that's the feel, if it's, hey, we just can't get this guy over the hump with his promos, try to do that with him tonight. And the minute he stumbles, Cena's just like, at some point you're gonna have to learn to go with what they gave you, but make it your own. So I'm gonna break this right now. And we're going to see if you fall flat on your face from here on out, or if that put the fire under you.
Yeah. And to be honest, too, I wonder how much of it was the corporate siding. I'm talking Vince, Triple H, Stephanie, whomever the powers that may be, writers, that told him to kind of do some of this stuff, too. Because looking back at his raps, what were the jokes always about? It was the stuff Vince liked. You could see it in some of it. It was ha-ha, popcorn fart humor, as I like to call it. Like, okay, that's fine and dandy. And McKinney brought it up.
I believe there was a word, boobies.
Yeah. Yeah, he loved all that stuff in it. And McKinney brought up Cena's the master of the ambush on the microphone. And here's the thing. He gets credit for that, but I also do not like when Cena played the narrator of Monday Night Raw. Oh, my goodness. Candice Michelle, Beth Phoenix tonight for the women's championship. Like, I hate when he would cut those promos. Like, I would just groan. Like, dude, why does he have to do this?
And also, I remember distinctly there was a time that John Cena got into the ring, and I believe it was around the time that he and Nikki Bella were getting ready to face Maurice and Miz going into WrestleMania 33. And John Cena got into the ring, and he's like, yeah, if my years are off, forgive me, but I think it was the Miz and Maurice program. And he gets in the ring and he's on the mic and he's like, yeah, you don't tell me that I'm holding somebody back. I opened up SummerSlam this year. Like, I'm looking at the TV like, what is that supposed to mean? Like, oh, I'm sorry. You're looking for applause. You're trying to tell everybody that you're unselfish. You're trying to change the narrative of you being somebody that's always in the main event and always holding other people down. So what you're going to do to make that narrative clear is you're going to tell us that you're not that guy, not through action, not that we're smart enough and intelligent enough to pick up on the fact that you were the first match of the night, but you have to remind us, because I want to make sure everybody realizes, hey guys, I was in the first match of the night, but we're supposed to forget about the fact that you were out with an oblique injury in 2007 going into 2008, and you came back out of nowhere and won the Royal Rumble. We're supposed to forget about that. We're supposed to forget about the fact that at the end of the day, all you've ever done, with the exception of The Undertaker at WrestleMania 34, is squash everyone in your path.
That Nexus one is unforgivable. The DDT on concrete, bro, and kicking out of the 450. I was like, bro, come on.
Are you kidding me?
I loved the Nexus. It's worn. It's definitely worn, but I still got the shirt. I still got it.
I don't still have mine, but I got one. I had one. Yeah.
Nexus all day, every day. And then the DDT on the bare floor of the cement, and just still gonna come back and win. It was a nail in the coffin.
And gentlemen, because every time you guys talk, it just brings things back. I respect John Cena for his 25 plus years of service, but we're not going to go there. We're not going to sit up here and just ignore the elephant in the room. John Cena single-handedly destroyed the Nexus. Make no mistake about it. You're telling me, I know you guys are not telling me, we're all in agreement on this one, but you, whoever you may be, you're telling me that John Cena, when he's sitting in that room backstage and they're talking about, hey guys, this is what we're going to do. We're going to have you guys go over on the Nexus at SummerSlam. That he couldn't have said, you know what, I don't think that's the best idea. You're telling me that he, at Survivor Series, facing Wade Barrett, as the special referee when Wade Barrett faced Randy Orton, that it was going to be it made sense in John Cena's mind. Hey, my career's on the line in this match. If I don't help Randy Orton, if I do help Randy Orton, don't help Wade Barrett, I'm gone from WWE. And he's back the next night? What is going on here?
No.
Yeah, that was bad creative.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not trying to interject any kind of false.
No, come on, man.
There, but I thought initially that that 5-on-5, or was it 6-on-6? I can't remember.
It was 5-on-5 at SummerSlam.
Was supposed to be the Nexus, and it was one of those times where it was the pulled of, nah, I don't want to do that.
Nexus were winning.
Even worse, BJ. I thought it was a little bit better, where it was something that was thrown at him and he didn't object. Even better example of his selfishness.
Do you guys want the backstory on this? I guess I should say it just for people who are listening for historical purposes. The backstory is that Jericho and Edge heard that the change happened. So Nexus was winning. Something happened. Vince says, we got to send the people home happy. Cena is going to go over at the end. And Jericho and Edge were like, dude, this is a bad idea. They told him, this is a bad idea. We shouldn't do it. After it happens and they're in the locker room, changing, John Cena was like, you guys were right. We shouldn't have did that. But it was the damage was done, Sean.
Who cares?
Well,
it's too late now.
Right, but that's what they told him. The damage is done. You can't take it back now. So we're gonna have to run with this. And for all of that too, let's bring up some of the good matches and stuff real quick before we get to the end of his career. And what happened was he had those matches with Punk. I thought those were fantastic. I love the stuff he did with Edge. I thought that was great. I even loved the work him and Batista did together, where Batista turned heel and Batista's in the ring. I quit. I'm done. I quit. And I was like, oh, fantastic stuff. He did have moments where he shined, where I was like, okay, cool. And like I said, I did like some of the US Open Challenge matches. I was like, oh, okay, you can go with some of these guys. And it was fine. He had his moments too.
We can't take away his story with JBL when he was getting the title for the first time. That was a good feud. Him and Kevin Owens. Yeah. And I really do think he helped Owens. I still to this day wonder how much more he would have helped Sami Zayn had the injury not happened.
Yeah.
So I mean,
that was a crazy injury on his entrance. He threw his arm out.
I can't say much about him helping people like Zack Ryder, who he should have, but
yeah, that's another one.
But yeah, there are definitely some people that he had feuds with that were not just memorable for his sake, but him really helping the other person as well. There were those throughout.
One that sticks out to me, Matt Lopez brings it up, the Cena versus Bryan feud. I love the fact that Bryan went over at SummerSlam. That's perfectly fine with me. But then again, at the same time, right, the thing that I'll always remember about John Cena is that John Cena could have, it's hard to say could have, because he's a surefire first ballot Hall of Famer probably this spring in Vegas. But my thing is this. And I want you guys to really internalize what I'm saying and just give me your opinion on whether or not you agree. There's so many more matches that John Cena should have lost that would have benefited his legacy.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say that again. Yeah, I'm gonna say that again. There are so many matches, because I know it sounds really crazy coming off the tongue. There are so many matches that he should have lost that would have benefited his legacy.
It goes back kind of to that conversation I was having about the Hogan and the Stone Cold thing.
Mm-hmm.
You don't hear much with Stone Cold shouldn't have gone over there. That should have been someone else.
Right.
But you do hear that all the time with Hogan stuff, especially towards the end of Hulkamania and then going into WCW and NWO stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There are tons of moments where it was Hogan should have lost here. It wouldn't have done anything to hurt him, but it would have helped make someone else. And I feel like that does bleed over again into the way that they booked Cena once he became quote unquote Super Cena.
There's a match that stands out in my mind like it's yesterday. And it was the first time, I think it was a crossroads moment for me, because I wasn't quite there yet when it came to my John Cena dislike. Don't hate anyone, but severe dislike. And it was SummerSlam 2005. It was SummerSlam 2005. It was right after he won the title. It was him versus Chris Jericho. And they put on a classic. And I'm taking you back in time, guys, to my real life reaction to that match. When Jericho lost, when that 1, 2, 3 was hit, I just felt to myself, that's not right. I was like, this was a fantastic match, but I just don't appreciate the results.
This was at the time that Jericho was about to leave.
Yes.
It's right when Cena came over and it was him and Jericho and Christian.
Yes.
Christian was the other one I was going to mention left because of this too.
Yeah, I remember, like I said, my interest in him, like I started feigning again to be like, nah, I don't like this Cena. I remember wanting Jericho or Christian constantly during those few months of them together and feuding, of being like, put the belt on Christian. He's never been the world champion. Make this happen. And then ultimately both of them ended up leaving.
Yeah. I'm going to pull up a list real quick. Not all of my favorite people, but if you're looking for like who are some of the best opponents to look for Cena, some people love the Orton rivalry. That depends on how you feel about it. I think there's a lot of matches that you overdid it, but
those matches kind of run into each other a little bit.
Yeah, Edge, I absolutely love the feud with Edge. I thought that was very well done. As you guys know, I'm impartial. My favorite is CM Punk just because of how opposite they were from each other. Rock, twice in a lifetime. He's got a million matches with Triple H as well that you can get into. His feud with Minute Maid Man, squashes, and they just replayed it again at WrestlePalooza. A dream rivalry with AJ Styles. I know that's one of Ray's favorites, and I can definitely agree. Fantastic. Kurt Angle's another great rival. The Miz, Bray Wyatt, and I'm sure there's names that we forgot on there as well that should be the Miz, Bray Wyatt. I could go on and on for like who we had good matches with and chemistry with. All right, let's move into the end of his career. Let's just go into he announces. You guys can give your thoughts on this too. John Cena offered to do like 220 days. I know that's not exactly what was said in the podcast. I know some people are gonna be like, that's out of context, blah, blah, blah. But you could have had him for way more time, bro. Way more time than you did to help develop these stories. And I'm not saying he had to wrestle, but you could have had him on TV a little bit more if he was going to agree to it. Like, I don't know why you would do that to yourself. Very odd. But we get into this whole, like, this is what we're going to do. Cena's back. He's in the Rumble. And go ahead, Beach.
So, bottom line on any of that, like when you're talking about that quote, no, I will tell you, I have not listened to the whole thing, but I do have the context of the quote, and he was saying that he was thankful for WWE for only giving the 36 days and thinking about his longevity and his body and his age and all that stuff. That's fine. But he was preparing. And from what we can say that we know about John Cena wasn't going to try to go in and just float through it. He was going to put his effort into it, and he was prepared to go full time and really do it right. And it says a lot about where we currently are with WWE and where their mindset is, to where they're like, nah, we've already, done sellouts, and we've already got all this money revenue, and all the business partnerships are here, and we've got the new deals and everything. So, we only need you for like 36. It's like,
I thought it was crazy.
What? Like the man was prepared. Like if anybody, I mean, you can talk about creative, you could talk about directions, you could talk about that, and I know that we are, but that statement alone says that for people who are big fans, and I'm going to shout out Ray here, big fans of Cena who wanted more from Cena, he was willing to give that to you. It was WWE who said nah.
Yeah. Sean, any thoughts on that? Like, I know some people, to me, I just thought it was a ridiculous quote for people who like long-term booking that's in charge of the creative. I was like, why wouldn't you want him more? But maybe it was a money thing with TKO. I don't know.
Well, look, I mean, like I said, one thing I want to do is be fair. I'm very critical of John Cena, but at the end of the day, the fact that he wanted to give more to the fan, I don't think John Cena is a bad person. I think that's the key here. I think it's very important. Matter of fact, I'm very thankful for the opportunity and the platform to be able to express, for the record, I do not think John Cena is a bad person. I don't think John Cena is a selfish person. I think John Cena is a company person. And I think sometimes you can be too company for your own good. John Cena's made some very big mistakes after a time where he had enough influence to alter those mistakes. And I think that he was a blind loyalist to the man who was in charge. And I think had he stood his ground after he had enough stroke in the company to make some alterations, that things would have been better from him and his legacy. No one will ever be able to take away the Make-A-Wish. I think he's a stand-up human being. I respect him as a human being. BJ's comments about what he did regarding this past year where he wanted to do more dates in WWE, I would have demanded to do, well, you don't want me to do more dates, and I'm not going to do any dates. You have to put your foot down sometimes. I know that sounds easier said than done. It's John freaking Cena. What were they going to do? Say no? They would have at least met. Okay, they would have at least met him 50. Halfway.
Yeah, let's try 50 then.
They would have met him halfway. But that's that's where I think, and I just actually came up with that just now. Like I don't even know where that came from. John Cena's too much of a company man. He's not a bad man, but he's too much of a company man.
Oh, he's a bad man. Yeah. Puppy nuts. I'm a bad man.
I do want to put a little second part onto that statement and onto what you said, Sean. He is a company man, which leads me to question why this came out before he was fully out, because he's always been a company man and not said anything, which makes me think that he's not thrilled with how things were handled, how things have been, and how things are going.
Well,
because what's it matter now? He's out this weekend.
It's a wrap.
And if he says it later, it doesn't mean as much as if he says it and then you're still gonna watch him.
True.
BJ, give me the hot tag right now, because that's what I wanted to mention when I mentioned the media stuff. Ding, ding, ding. Conrad's back on it. John Cena did not have to say this. It was kind of him politely, I'm telling the truth, but I'm also bearing you. Sean, I think he's smarter than he is, too. Like, people are like you mentioned on the microphone, this man is a savant on a microphone. He knows what he's saying and what he's doing. he made Triple H and them look bad. And they did the same to him. Remember? Oh, we brought Brock back because John wanted it. And John was like, I didn't request that at all.
Who asked for Brock? Exactly.
Yeah. So I think that was a little bit of a payback on what they had pulled on him. Let's look at his wrap up here, though. Mm-hmm. He loses to Jey Uso in the Royal Rumble, which I thought was a cool moment. Like for Jey Uso to overcome Punk, Reigns, and all that. Whether you like Jey Uso or not, Jey Uso got a really cool moment with John Cena. I loved it. I thought it was good.
Jey Uso didn't deserve to win that Royal Rumble.
No,
whoever thinks that Jey Uso deserves to win the Royal Rumble and deserves to be world champion, just like what kind of moron would think that Jey Uso deserved that?
If you're a longtime listener, you know, if not, go in the archives. Then we get to the next show, which was the Elimination Chamber, and we got this moment of John Cena stepping on Cody and the low blow. I thought it was a very well done heel turn. I just don't think it'll have that same impact like the NWO. It just won't. The follow-up was horrible. And you're not, hold on, I got to yell real quick. Mm-hmm. You're not going to blame The Rock for all of it. I heard someone do that the other day, and I was like, if Rock would have just did this. No, Triple H, pivot. That's your job. Pivot off of this then and do it. You didn't have to do it either. You could have told Rock, like, nah, I don't think we're going to do that, man. That doesn't make much sense.
It was a brilliant idea by stupid creative.
Best I could say for it. Sean, anything you want to add to that?
I mean, I totally agree. I mean, it was a fantastic night that led to nothing.
Right?
Like that's one of the biggest fumbles in history. Like, that's a fumble. In my book, that's a fumble.
I mean, you could have had one of the best stories there. I think it was too late, too, when you decided to do it. You should have turned Cena heel when, I forgot when they had the conversation. Was it like 12, 13? Mm-hmm. That was probably the better time. Then he could have cut the "You People" promo, and it would have hit better. Now people wanted to cheer him at this point. Like, you had already went all the way. Like, he's in his like Hogan 05 run. Like, dude, no one wants to boo Hogan in the WWE at this time. Like, just they want the leg drop, the boot, and the like, you know what they want. Like, give the people what they want. They didn't do it. We ended up getting this WrestleMania moment, bro. Travis Scott helps John Cena become the WWE champion is mind-boggling, to say the least, for how this guy's career has went, where he never needed any help to do anything, and Travis Scott is the reason that he became the champion.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Quills. Like, that was actually the phrase that I coined. Quills pointed out. I think the John Cena heel turn at No Way Out. Excuse me. I'm taking it way back. At Elimination Chamber was a Grand Slam single.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys agree? One of the worst WrestleMania main events ever. They're putting it up there. Okay. Especially when you're expecting The Rock and you get Travis Scott. What the heck? Yo, they should have 86'd the whole thing. As soon as The Rock wasn't available, what are you bringing Travis Scott out for? And you know what the sad part was? Once he was champ, we were sitting there waiting like, okay, when's the heel turn or when's the face turn going to happen? Because he's not leaving. He's not going out like that. And then we got that half, like, poorly, like, I don't even know what to call it. Like, that weird turn on SmackDown. Like, you know what, Cody? You're right. I should be doing the right thing. Me and you put on a banger match at SummerSlam. And
all of a sudden we just forget that he was a heel for the last 3 months. Like, oh man.
His match quality did increase, in my opinion, at this point, though. Like, that was where I was like, okay, he can still do this, though. He just needed to be in his role, in his wheelhouse. Like, all right, let's go. I got this. And I thought they did put on a fantastic match. You go through some of the other matches. He ends up getting that weird match with Minute Maid Man. And then he faces Dominic Mysterio, bro. Becomes the Intercontinental Champion. Grand Slam. Not the single that Sean was speaking about, but he gets the Grand Slam. I felt like you put a hat on top of a hat. He didn't need this, per se, but if you wanted the record, great. I don't know.
I mean, it's not a record. I mean, I know what you meant, Conrad, but that makes it even more of a good point. Like, okay, you want it to be the 37th. I'm throwing a random number out there. The 37th Grand Slam champion. Who gives a crap?
Yeah. Shout out to everyone putting the Fiend.
Yeah.
that song will forever haunt me.
Mm-hmm.
But that's John Cena, and we're here now. Gunther wins the tournament. John Cena, Saturday night's main event, the last real champion, one last time. It's in Washington, D.C. Don't even make me scratch my head about this, guys. Like, here's the matchups we have for it. John Cena will face Gunther in Cena's retirement match. Cody Rhodes is facing Obafemi. We didn't even talk NXT deadline, but Obafemi won the NXT title back, and the winner got to face Cody. There it is. And Bayley versus Sol Ruka is on the card. Are you guys excited for this on Saturday? I'm sure me and Sean will be talking about it next week.
One great match and one that is kind of half and one that shouldn't be there. And
I'm going to need you to label these, BJ.
Well, so when you first started talking about this being the theme of the episode, I told you I had this long thing that I had been thinking of. And so I'm going to get to the culmination of that right now. I'll try to be brief with it, but
you're good. Take your time.
This run of Cena's, obviously we wanted more things out of it. We're talking about how he's going to go out, who he should go out to, all of these kinds of things. I think with the way that WWE booked their year, there was only one answer, and it's kind of left field to say this, but there was only one answer as who should have been the final person. And we're not going that route. And even more so, now they're in a spot that I don't think they're safe, where they could have been safe if they just weren't used at all. But that's Obafemi. I know Gunther took out Goldberg, but I might get all kinds of hate for this because I like Gunther as a wrestler. But Gunther's a very good wrestler. But another product I watch has an entire roster full of good wrestlers. What makes you something different and something unique than a good wrestler? And the things that used to make Gunther don't anymore. I don't feel that's valid as him being the person to put Cena out. I think if you're going to take someone, if someone's going to, pin Cena, it be his final match, it needs to be someone who you can make an impact with, someone who's big. Obviously, they have plans, and I know, Sean, it's one of your favorite people. They have plans for Braun Breaker, so it's not going to be Braun Breaker. So this is your time to have that quote-unquote ruthless aggression moment and have somebody who could be big and powerful and new to the main roster to be the person to give Cena a good last match, but ultimately Cena crumbles under them. And the only person throughout NXT, throughout SmackDown, throughout Raw that is booked as a way that could have done that was Obafemi. Because if it was somebody more established, it doesn't matter. And if it was somebody that wasn't coming back for a long return, also doesn't matter. This was a good way, and I feel like we're not getting that. And now even more so, we're going to have Obafemi, who should be that person, facing the WWE champion, who I don't think they're going to let that end with the WWE champion on his back. Just saying.
And let me tell you how much more on the money you are than you probably even realize, BJ. Isn't this night supposed to be, in John Cena's words, about the future?
Exactly.
That's what he said. That's why Sol Ruka and Obafemi are going to be on the card anyway. That's why NXT is being featured on this night, except in John Cena's match.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just ridiculous. I mean, even me as a Jey Uso guy, Jey Uso, like LA Knight, and even Gunther should not be in this match.
Yeah.
Tournaments to tournament. That match is going to happen on Saturday, December 13th, Washington, D.C., 8 Eastern, streaming on Peacock. For those interested in watching it, I'm sure this will be on me and Sean's topic list for next week for sure. So come back if you want our thoughts on that, and then we'll button this all up with Cena. You guys want any final words? Anything else you want to add to this? I think we covered everything pretty well.
Ultimately, I just think that I'm appreciative now more for Cena than I think I ever was. I think there was some stuff that really did turn the tide. I'm talking in ring, out ring. Obviously, he's a good person, and I'm grateful for that too, for other reasons. But I think we're gonna look back on this I think we're already doing it now, but I think we're especially going to look back in 5, 10, 15 years at being like, man, how do you fumble this last year of somebody who did so much for you as a company and so much for the fans to leave them on a note like this? Because there are plenty of wrestlers and people throughout history who had never got to have their last match the way they wanted due to injury or whatever events in life, but you had someone and you had the opportunity to have an incredible year of booked moments, memories, matches, and things to leave a legacy and let his fans feel great about and go out with. And I feel like you gave them a crumb when you could have fed them. And so I'm appreciative for Cena. If this is actually Cena being done, because if retirement's in wrestling, you never know. Then I'm just hoping everything else that he does goes well for him. If he returns, man, I hope they do it right.
Yeah.
I would say that, I appreciate John Cena for his contributions. Again, just to echo what all of us have said throughout the show, John Cena seems to be a fantastic human being. So that's not in any way in question. John Cena had come across. I don't know him personally, but John Cena, for all he's done for kids and things like that, seems to be a fantastic human. So that completely is off the table as far as any kind of disrespectful or anything that's outside the realm of kindness as it relates to John Cena. My issue is what I said a little earlier. I just think John Cena, once he achieved this level of notoriety and influence, I just believe that he should have used it a little bit more for good as it relates to the people around him in the ring. I think if he had just, because people forget, the word manipulate can be a negative or a positive word. You can manipulate things in a good way as well. Manipulate is not a negative word. People think it's a negative word. It can be negative or it could be positive. I think John Cena could have manipulated this situation a little bit better as it relates to the storylines that he had to portray in the ring. Had he done so, I probably would look at him a little bit more favorably as an in-ring performer. That being said, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, and I do appreciate his contributions.
I'll just end it. I think you both said very wonderful words. I'm just going to end it by saying thank you, Cena, just for all the bumps, the travel down the road, making my friends feel good. Things like that, man, means a lot. So wish you the best. And I can definitely agree with what both of you have said throughout this. And I hope you guys enjoyed our different perspective on this. I am going to punch the button for overtime real quick because I do want to get these out while they are topical, Sean. TNA. AMC starting January 15th. TNA is moving to 9 p.m. I wanted thoughts from you both really quickly on the new TNA deal, and then we're going to get into the Netflix and WBD, and then we'll end the show.
Fantastic. It's a fantastic thing for pro wrestling fans to have another TV show on cable. I just hope it's not WWE TNA. I hope it's TNA, but time will tell.
Yeah. And I saw Leon Slater got pulled from an event that he was supposed to be on, funny enough, for this weekend. I wonder what else he could be doing this weekend. There is a show coming up in Washington, D.C. on Saturday.
Interesting.
The day of the show.
That is interesting. And as far as that being a deal, I'm always up for more opportunities to provide, money and payment for wrestlers to do the things that they like to do and we like to watch them do. I do question, though, whether AMC got swindled.
Well, we don't know how much money it is either. They won't answer
true.
that. Good for TNA. I hope they do well with this. I mean, this is what the whole basis of the partnership was on, and I hope you don't get played in the end. We'll see what happens with it. It's going to be one to keep an eye out for and see what they end up doing. And then we also had another merger that is supposedly happening. It sounds like Netflix is going to buy WBD, but On the flip side, Paramount has said that this is an unfair bidding process, and they are in the process of doing a hostile takeover, as we like to call it in the corporate world. Of they are going to buy all of the stock from people, and they are going to take over the company that way, and they are going to put a kibosh on this deal. Things are about to get
Paramount. I've already been quoted. You guys can't quote me. I've already said Paramount, as of next year, will have the best value in all of combat sports as it relates to their deal with UFC. If they're able to pull this off, which is by definition a coup, this could be one of the most influential, whether you think it's good or bad, moments in television history.
I just want to address this back to the WWE thing. Not fully true, Miracle, because at one point someone did mention WWE helped them with that. Oh, okay, you put apparently. Yeah, no, I think they definitely had some influence and help in that. But BJ, back to you on this Netflix WBD Paramount drama.
I'm not gonna be the guy that says all the stuff and seems like some kind of conspiracist or whatever, but I will say you should watch with these companies outside of your wrestling bubble to see where the money goes, who the owners are, what they already own, and what they're trying to own for what the potential direction they could change some of your other things of media with. And I say that in regards to both companies. Obviously, major companies with a huge amount of money always have their hands in a lot of pies, so to speak. But some people more nefarious than others, and I leave it at that.
Because once you own something, you could always change that ketchup into barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
Good, Sean. Excellent point.
Yes.
When it comes to that. Listen, we got Monday Night Raw starting in 20 minutes. I am going to have Sean take us out of here, man. I love this episode. I thought it was a lot of fun. I hope you guys liked it too. I hope you hit that like button, subscribe, and make sure you guys follow. Like I tell you guys this every week. If you're not following Sean or subscribe to his channel, I don't know what you're doing. And BJ, go follow him on social media. BJ will put together something really cool, and yeah, he's a good follow. Good person to talk to. So BJ, we thank you for coming on and doing the show with us. And that's on behalf of me and Sean. Always, brother. Always welcome. Sean, wise man with the words.
Big shout out to BJ, man, for being here as our guest, man. Tremendous job as always. Very, very eloquent and knowledgeable. We appreciate you being here. Conrad, always the cream of the crop as it relates to production and entertainment value. We appreciate you as well. My name is Sean. This is Clash of the Podcast. Make sure you check out Conrad Cushman and my guy Derek as they bring you the very best in AEW each and every Wednesday night around 10 p.m. After AEW Dynamite goes off the air, be right here back on the EPW channel for the one and only EPW Presents AEW Review. This coming Thursday, I'm going to be a guest on Ruthless Talk, man. We're going to have the Jey Uso debate. And anybody who knows me and has ever heard me speak, you know I'm going in like you've never seen before, because I'm going to give you a little bit of a spoiler. They are not on my side, and I'm not on theirs, but it's going to be a good time. So make sure you check it out this coming Thursday night. More Hubbarnomics to come, obviously more EPW to come. Make sure you check out BJ's stuff. So on behalf of all three of us, this is Clash of the Podcast. We appreciate you greatly. God bless, be encouraged, and evil never prevails. Until next week, you already know what it is, man. Peace.